Hey, everybody. I am live and I kind of wanted to jump on live because I've told you guys I do a video on this and never did about how to like create a balanced portfolio and how to, and I did a previous video on kind of what I do for research. So if you want to find that video, there's another video in here on how to basically do research and what I look for and ultimately what it kind of looks like in terms of building sort of a good portfolio, knowing what coins to pick and all of that stuff. I know there's a lot of people who keep talking about like, how do I make quick cash? How do I do all these things? But in reality, I think my goal in the current cycle is to essentially, I'm buying on dips and I'm holding. And what I look at when I'm buying on dips and holding is I'm looking at the long-term strategy. And so the idea for me is to hold about 50% of my portfolio in Bitcoin, because I know Bitcoin is going to be a sustainable gain. It's not going to have a massive spike and just get crushed like some of the smaller alts will. I'm also looking about 25% Ethereum and the big caps. And then I'm looking up 25% of maybe the mid caps and then 1% of the super small micro caps to just take a gamble on, because the big caps are going to be pretty sustainable. They're safer. The medium caps are going to still be, they're sort of safe. They're in a good place. The smaller caps are the ones you kind of have to worry about and what you have to really look for. And so when I look at building a like my portfolio, and kind of when I come on here, what I look at for big caps or anything bigger than like 10 billion. So obviously Bitcoin is bigger than 10 billion. We have the $1 trillion market cap, but looking at the other caps, so you have Bitcoin, and then Ethereum is considered a big cap, even though it's kind of in its own little world. But so what I typically look at is 50% of my portfolio in Bitcoin. I'll buy the dips on Bitcoin up to about 50K. We're getting past the point of where I want to continuously invest in it. But my portfolio is like 50-ish, 60% Bitcoin right now. So it's in a place where I want it to be. Ethereum, I have about 25 to 30% of my portfolio in Ethereum alone. So these two are pretty sustainable bets. I know by the end of the year, I'm going to produce a significant amount from just these two, should nothing else work out really well. But then on the other end, I have a good portion in terms of Ethereum plus big caps. We're probably looking at like 25, 30% total. And so when we look at big caps, it's like your Binance coin, it's your XRP, it's your, not Tether, it's your Cardano, your ADA, your Polkadot, your Uni, your Litecoin, your Link, and even extending that down a little bit more now, because I kind of consider big caps, not just the top 10, but the coins that have about a 10 million or $10 billion value or more. So when we look at big caps right now, we got a lot of coins moving up and taking the place of some of these previous ones. And so when I look at additional ones, so we have Uniswap, Litecoin, Chainlink, Theta is now considered a big cap because Theta has been on a tear and it's starting to creep back up. Cool thing about Theta is what we're looking at now is if we can break the 14, I think it's 1450. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but if we can break that, Theta is probably going to move to 17, which means Theta is going to move up along the line. We also have Link starting to pop, Litecoin popped, Uni's trying, Polkadot's popping. So a lot of the big caps are starting to pop now. But when we come down, we know Bitcoin Cash is moving in 11 billion. We got Stellar that's moved up. US dollar coin doesn't count. It doesn't matter. Filecoin's right on the edge. So those are kind of your, your fairly big caps. So those are the ones that you're going to be able to hedge. They're going to be a little bit sustainable. They're going to be the ones that aren't going to crash and completely burn like a lot of this really small caps will. They'll have 1,000% increase and a 2,000% drop. So you kind of want to hedge your bet in creating a portfolio that's not only balanced, but also mitigates a little bit of risk in terms of what you're trying to do at the end of the year, which is make profit. And so for me, my first investment choice is Bitcoin and these big caps in Ethereum. Then when I look at the mid caps, what I kind of look into here is it's like less than 10 billion. So when we come up here and we look at our medium caps, okay, so maybe I would still probably consider Filecoin a big cap. It's on its way back up. It had a pretty decent correction and consolidation. Tron moving its way up. We've got, so a lot of these less than 10 billion are going, so these ones under dollar coin, like Filecoin, Tron, wrapped Bitcoin, doesn't matter. Doge, I can't believe Dogecoin is up here. It's crazy. We got Clay, VeChain. So a lot of these are going to be, they have a lot of room for growth. So these set in the $7 billion range. But where I think you find a lot of value in terms of these ones is Sol's been on a tear. And so has Luna. But when I look at these ones and I start scrolling down, the smaller they are, or they have to move up to becoming a big cap. And so you kind of start looking at these, like Tezos has got a lot of room to grow. Monero still has a lot of room to grow. Aave has a lot of room to grow. We've got Neo. One of my other favorites are Cosmos. I love Cosmos. I'll show you guys my watch list in a second. Cosmos, AVAX has a lot of room to grow. Hot, Hollow, it's on a tear. Kusama still got a lot of room to grow. So these are all really good projects. It's like it's hard to go wrong with a lot of these mid caps because they're such good projects and they're in the process of really scaling to where they want to be. You got like Pancake Swap that's at the 3 billion mark. This thing's like Binance Smart Chain's #1 DEX aggregator. So obviously Pancake's going to be a massively important pick or a really good pick. And it's on a tear right now. It was down to like $13 a couple weeks ago. So this thing's got a ton of room to grow, and it's only at the $3 billion, eGold 3 billion. So a lot of these ones right here from like maybe like from Cosmos down are going to be really good picks in my opinion, because we've got Cosmos, AVAX. A lot of these still have a ton of room to grow, and they're really good projects when I look at what to invest in, like Chili's top tier NFTs, Engine NFTs. So there's a lot of good picks right in this area. And as we keep going down, Synthetics still got a ton of room to grow, super undervalued. So don't give up on Synthetics. We've got Ethereum Classic moving up, the Graph, like all of these Stacks, all of these I think are amazing projects. Sushi, super undervalued. And Basic Attention Token. So they've been added to the Grayscale Trust, which tells you that this coin is going to have a lot of value and it's going to have consistent value long term. Then when we start moving into like the smaller caps, not like the micro caps, but the smaller caps that are under $1 billion. So as we scroll down, what I look at here is like, okay, Voyagers, it's finally on its way back up from a massive consolidation, but these are the ones that have the opportunity to really scale. And something I look for if I want to get into a smaller cap that's under $1 billion, I start looking at like, I like Origin Protocol a lot. And as I go down the line, what I really start looking at are some of the projects themselves. And I did the video on how to really see if it's a good project, but you go into like Ocean Protocol, you open it up and you're like, all right, well, it's 755 million. What's the project look like? It's had a pretty good run. Shows that it's not just a pump and dump scheme. We have one thing I look here, okay, do they have a decent write-up? Yes, they actually took the time to put this thing together. It's not just some like piece of garbage that they just threw on here. And then you can go to Ocean's different websites and stuff like that and really get an idea. Okay, something I would like to invest in. Is this something that makes sense to me? Is this something that I would use? And so when you look at Ocean, it's like a file sharing storage type thing, which I think is really important to have as part of your portfolio. And so then as we scroll down, some of the really good damn like recently put on Coinbase. It's only got the 683 million. StormX, I wasn't too keen on this, but I think it has a lot of consumer-based value because it's like a coupon thing. You buy stuff, you get StormX as a return. So it's got a pretty neat idea for the future for people who are shopping around. Venus, I think, is undervalued. It's $58 right now. It's a 500 million market cap. So if this thing goes up to like 1 billion, 5 billion, you can tell that the price is obviously going to launch up a little bit with it. Status, I think, is a good one. Augur gets a lot of hate, but they've been moving up pretty well. They go down when the market crashes, but they're all the way up to $50 at this point. NKN is getting listed on Coinbase tomorrow, as long as they have the liquidity. So it's another good one that's going to start really launching. The Sandbox is basically like Decentraland, but it's an early project. So the Sandbox is going to be a big one. You can kind of spot what Decentraland and Man is doing and see where this one's possibly going to be headed. Scale is on Coinbase now, so it's kind of solidified. Let's keep scrolling down, find some good ones. Balancer is a really good project. It's $53 coin right now. It's only got a 371 million market. The thing's got a ton of room to grow. And then Wax, another really good one. Band, I'm super bullish on Band right now. It's been trying to pop and break that like $18, $19, $20 mark. When it does, Band is going to go to the moon. And look at it. Band is a $17 coin right now, and it's only about a 300 million market cap. It's super undervalued. As long as Band can finally take off, I think the coin's got a ton of room to grow. So when we look at these coins, I kind of go through and I look at like the smaller the market cap, the more room the coin has to grow right now. We'll see the big caps really explode too, but these are the where you make these like massive gains. I like Chain a lot. So a lot of these are the ones where you're going to be able to pick and make these huge gains, these life-changing gains that we talk about. But it's also the ones that have the most risk. These are also ones that might pop straight up and then pop straight down. So you really have to do your homework and go back to the video I talked about on how I research coins to understand how to do your homework in this market. Then the next thing that I look at when I'm building a portfolio is what I don't want to do is get super heavily invested in one particular segment. So when I look at segments, I go into, we have DeFi, NFT, Polkadot, Binance Chain, and the yield farming section. But what we're really going to look at are these ones. So when I go into these, I'm like, okay, what's popping in DeFi? What would make sense? Okay, well, I know I want some big caps, so I'm going to take Uni and Chainlink. I do hold Uni and Chainlink. Safe bets. They're gonna keep going up. Chainlink's massive project. Uni is one of the biggest DEX aggregators in the industry. So I'm gonna pick those two. Then as I scroll down, okay, if I have a couple DeFi, I have two big caps, and then okay, I want two sort of like smaller caps. So maybe synthetics, and then maybe I'm gonna jump on with like Compound or Maker, or maybe even Sushi, something like that. And then maybe I want one or two like Ocean to jump on to hedge my bets in terms of a smaller cap, or going down even farther. Maybe I want like Chain as a really good one to have the potential to really launch, Polka Starter. But what I don't want to do is have like 50 coins in just DeFi, because if DeFi tanks, then my whole portfolio tanks. And this is why we want to build a balanced portfolio. So it's why I have Bitcoin. It's why I have Ethereum, because I know those two. Bitcoin goes up and down, so does Ethereum, but they're a lot more stable in terms of their ability to grow long term versus a lot of the smaller alts. Then when I look at DeFi, it's okay, maybe I want two big caps, maybe I want two of the mid-range caps, maybe I want two small caps, and then one micro cap to just take a gamble on. Okay, cool. Now I'm set with DeFi. Okay, now let's go over here and let's look at NFTs. All right. So I want a couple big, I'm going to go with Theta and Engine, which are and even Mana at this point is coming up. But the cool thing about the NFT market is like, okay, I'm going to go with Theta because that's a big cap that I can choose, that I can hedge, that's going to be pretty stable, has good partnerships, really good project in the NFT realm. Okay, and then what else do I want to do? Okay, I want a couple of medium caps. Okay, well, Chili's an Engine, Decentraland, Flow, Origin, like are these ones right here. These things have so much potential. Flow is going to explode. Decentraland is part of the Grayscale Trust. It's going to go up. Engine is massive. Chili's is massive. All of these are really good picks. These NFT plays are going to just blow up. So I know these are all good for my mid cap. Okay, and then okay, now I want a couple small caps to throw in your eyes. Let's do the sandbox. Maybe let's talk about Super Farm or Eternity Chain. Those are two really good ones. If you've heard me talking about it, I love Alice. I think it's it's a solid project. Their game, the beta version of their game, launches in July. So right now, when you get in at these discounts, when things launch, the coins tend to pump. And so when this thing launches its game, it'll pump. So then, okay, maybe I pick up Alice, and then I scroll way down. I'm like, all right, let's just pick some random one that hasn't popped yet that I think I can hedge my bets on. Okay, how about Bondly's a good project, and it's tiny. It hasn't done anything really big so far. So there's a ton of room to grow there. And then as we scroll down, we have I like Circuits of Value a lot. It's another one that has a lot of potential. And so then, okay, now I've got my NFT plays picked up, and I'm set up with NFTs. So when the NFTs pop, I'm good there. All right, so now now I want to move into Polkadot. So as I'm building my portfolio, I've got Link, so I'm good. Maybe I want some Polkadot, which is one of my favorite projects. I think Polkadot's going to be massive. It's going to be Ethereum, Polkadot, and ADA that kind of complement each other, not fight or compete with each other, but complement each other in the future. And then I say, okay, maybe I'm going to pick up Polkadot because I already got some Chainlink, so it kind of crosses over DeFi. Polkadot, Link's kind of its own world. And then, okay, maybe we jump on Kusama because now I need a mid cap. Okay, Kusama, Ontology is a good project. ZRX, Anchor is another good project. Ren, Ocean. So there's a ton of good ones right here. So these are my sort of mid cap choices. And then I say, okay, now I want my smaller caps. All right, let's pick up some Ocean. Let's pick up Polka Starter, another really good project. Let's see, what else do we have here? A lot of Mantra DAO, massively undervalued. Frontier, pretty undervalued. Chain X, I've been following this for a while. Massively undervalued, hasn't really popped yet. So Bondly again. So as I come into here, I'm like, okay, now I've got my sort of smaller caps, and then okay, maybe I want to take a chance with the micro cap. All right, so let's see what kind of micro caps available. Maybe B Pro is a pretty good project. We've got. Let's keep looking. Let's find a good one. And so what I'll do is I'll keep scrolling and okay, maybe I don't find one that I want. Maybe I don't find one that I really want to jump into at this point. So I'm like, okay, maybe I won't take a chance with a micro cap here. Or maybe, okay, Rio DeFi. It's a pretty good project, really small. So maybe I'm gonna take a chance with that one. So that's the kind of way I look at each one of these segments. It's like I want a couple of big DeFi projects. I want a couple of the mid-range DeFi projects. I want one or so of the smaller ones, and then one or so of the micro ones that I can kind of hedge and make my 100 times gains off of or whatever. Same thing with NFTs, Polkadot, and then Binance Chain. So now I come in here, I'm like, okay, I need to be in BNB a little bit. I know Pancake Swap is like the number one for this area. So, okay, I'm going to get into some Pancake. That gives me my mid-range cap. Then I've got the Graph and I've got Ontology. Then as I scroll down, I'm like, okay, now what do I want for my smaller ones? Okay, well, let's see. This is a massive project that's undervalued. We picked that. Reef's had some trouble lately, so I may not pick that one. But so I'm scrolling down. Okay, what else makes sense? Okay, I'm still in the hundreds of millions. Maybe we come down farther, we find like, oh, let's see, like Frontier's labeled in here. And so then, okay, now we've got our small cap. Now let's find our micro cap. Okay, let's see. You have to be careful with a lot of these ones. Often, sometimes they can be rug pulls. You'll get rug pulled on these ones with these smaller market caps. They'll open, they'll do it, they'll pull, and you'll kind of get screwed. So just be careful with these littler ones. And that's the point here is you're safer the bigger the market cap on the coin typically, and you're at more risk the smaller the market cap because it hasn't proven itself yet. It hasn't grown. It doesn't have a base yet. And you don't really know a lot about it. So big things are pay attention to what you're investing in. I know we talk about a multiplier quite a bit. It's tiny still. Like this thing has the opportunity to grow massively. It's $26 at this tiny market cap. Like this thing will explode when it does. It hasn't in a while, but when it does, it's got the opportunity to really blow up and take the market by storm. So when you're picking out your portfolio and you really want to create like a balanced portfolio that's safe and that's not going to put a ton of risk in terms of what you're doing, you want to not only have your organized portfolio in terms of, okay, I have this much Bitcoin, like for me, it's 50% Bitcoin. Then I have 25% Ethereum and big caps. And then I have 25% of the medium and the smaller caps. And then maybe like a tenth of a percent or 1% of the micro caps. So that, and inside of that, I have Bitcoin, then I have Ethereum, and then in big caps, I have the big caps for DeFi, the NFTs, the Polkadots, and Binance. So I'm hedged across the bet there. Then I come in, okay, now I have my medium caps. Okay, I'm going to pick these ones: DeFi, NFT, Polkadot, Binance, Smart Chain. I'm going to do the same thing with the small and then the micro cap. So that way I can create a portfolio that's balanced where I'm not over invested into a certain area and I'm not like over hedging myself in a certain spot. So if I have all DeFi and DeFi crashes, I'm screwed. If I have all NFTs and NFT crash, I'm screwed. If I have all Polkadot and Polkadot doesn't work out, I'm screwed. So what I want to do is make sure that no matter which segment of the market is pumping, I'm invested enough into that segment to be able to realize the gains and not see a ton of loss when other market segments aren't pumping. So as the market's flowing, like in March when NFTs were exploding, if you were invested in the NFT game, well, you were in a decent place because DeFi wasn't quite pumping. Then when NFTs start coming down and storage tokens start pumping, well, now you're okay. If you were in storage tokens, you're okay. And then as those start coming down and as DeFi starts pumping, you want to make sure that no matter what's happening in the market, your bets are hedged and your risk is mitigated to a level to where you can be up no matter what's down, if that makes sense. And so when we kind of look into categories, the last thing you kind of look into is like what's pumping, what categories are popular, what's pumping right now. Like master nodes is a big one. And something you want to pay attention to too that I look at is like if I see something that has like a 2,000% increase, I kind of want to look into it because I want to make sure this isn't like something that's a pump and dump, something that's like people just popped and dropped, to make sure I'm not getting into something that's like that or a rug pull. But you can come into here and you say, okay, if I'm in DeFi, NFT, Polkadot, Binance Chain, I have some good picks and all of those. And so where else do I want to be? Like either what do I believe in or what do I think are the segments that are going to pop? And so it's like, okay, we've got masternodes, tourism, transport, real estate, partnerships, retail, health. So you've got a lot of these areas that you can kind of look at to really hedge. Okay, what's popular? What has a lot of coins and tokens in it? Like Masternode 76. I'm going to put this on my phone because there's another section that I like that's available on mobile. And I figured out how to share it to my phone, which is amazing. And if you guys have questions, drop them below. And if I'm not paying attention, I'll go check the questions. But when we start looking at you guys can see my phone now, one thing that I kind of look at on the mobile app, and I'm using CoinMarketCap, which is great because you can pick a lot of this. So the last thing that I like to look at, and I like this better than going and looking at the like the category section. I like looking at sectors, which is going to show you like DeFi, Binance, Polkadot, NFTs, and storage. And so what I look at here is we have the storage section available in the mobile version, which we didn't necessarily have in the computer version or the desktop version. So then I'm saying, okay, hedged in DeFi, I'm hedged in Binance, I'm hedged in Polkadot, I'm hedged in NFTs, and I've got some storage picks. So then I'm in a good place. And we didn't look at storage, but when you look at storage, it's like, okay, Filecoin, Big Cap, we got Hollow Hot, which is a really good choice. We've got Ocean, which I like a lot. I like Storage A quite a bit too. And then as we go down, okay, so like we're hedged, and a lot of these have crossover, you'll notice too. So it's like some of the storage tokens have crossover, and Polkadot have so a lot of them have crossover with themselves. So you're creating like a bilateral cross-chain ability to hedge against risk by putting yourself in the best position possible across sectors of the market. And when you look at like the traditional markets, this is what we do. We want to be able to mitigate risk by not being overly invested in one particular area. And we're going to start seeing this in crypto as well as the market explodes. You want to make sure that you have the ability to hedge yourself against all the different things and mitigate risk associated with the different sectors. So let me know if that makes sense. And the last thing I want to look at with you guys is my watch list that I kind of pay attention to. And I made this essentially open, like you guys can go subscribe to this. If you want the link to the watch list, this watch list looks like. Actually, before we move on, let me see if we have any questions. Right now, it's only got okay. If you guys have questions, just drop them below. So when I look at my watch list, and remember, just drop watch list down below if you want the link to this, but I put a lot of the coins that I'm following, a lot of the coins I'm personally invested in, like Bitcoin, like Ethereum. I got rid of XRP, even though it pumped, and Cardano, Polkadot, Uni, like I hold most of these coins. We've got VeChain, Solana, like a lot of these are really big picks, and these are really popping now. And so FTX, which I think is massively, it's a big exchange token. I like Atom a lot. We've got HOT, we've got AVAX, Kusama, Elrond, Pancake Swap, Engine. So I put this together from a lot of the picks that I put together that I thought were going to be really, really solid choices for things moving forward. And we have the big caps, we have the medium, and we have a lot of the smaller caps right here. And so for me, it's like basic attention token. It's part of the Grayscale Trust. So I'm going to be in that because I know that's going to have massive value. Sushi, we've got Polygon, which is still small. Mana, which is part of the Grayscale Trust, which means it's going to be huge because they're going to buy massive quantities of it for their investors. Harmony, we've got ZRX, the Sia coin, Helium, still undervalued. OMG, still undervalued. It's been popping recently. Flow, still undervalued. NFT play. Anchor. So when you come on here to my watch list, just know this isn't financial advice, but I vetted this thing out for you guys to put a lot of the coins that I think have the potential to really blow up. Origin's getting listed on Coinbase, so 1 inch. But these have the potential to really go. And then we look Ocean Protocol, Data Play, Storage A, Data Play. So another like super undervalued tokens that should kind of, if you notice, they're following like an opposite trend because Storage A got listed on Coinbase and pumped and then dumped. So now we have to wait a little bit for a consolidation period. Live Peer, I think this is part of the Grayscale Trust. It was like $5 at the beginning of March and went all the way up to like high 40s. So another big pick. Venus, part of the Binance Smart Chain. Status, this NKN is getting listed on Coinbase tomorrow. Sandbox, like I said, it's another play that's based on like or not based on, but like Decentraland. So it's another really good pick. Band, I think once Band starts popping, this thing's going to go to the moon. We've got Wan Chain. So if you follow my my little watch list here, you can get into a bunch of good projects. And if you're looking, and for me, it's like buy them and hold. If something goes up like 3,000%, 300%, maybe take some profits, and then you can reinvest back in when it consolidates. But these are the ones that really have the opportunity to really explode and really go to the moon because they have such a small market cap comparative to the market right now. And in terms of where the market's headed, like Eternity Chain is going to be huge. Alice is still tiny. So these are really good picks. Cartesi's been on tear. It was like 15 cents not too long ago. So these are good ones. Then as we get smaller, they become more speculative. So once I get below like the 100 million range, now we've got some really speculative picks. These are where you make like the life-changing gains, but it's also where you could possibly not make anything, or you could pump and dump and never pump again. So these are the ones you just want to be careful with. And I vetted some of the ones out that I think are really good plays. You look at like Decentral Games, it's like they're putting a casino inside of Decentraland. So it's going to be a good partnership play with Decentraland. So I think that's going to be a really big pick. We've got Radical, which I think is good. Phantasma, that's still tiny. It was like 30 cents not too long ago. I like Cocos a lot too. Bondly hasn't really done anything yet. So a lot of these, like even APY, a lot of people complain about APY, but it's not even a project. It's not even real yet. It's still a speculative thing. Like BitBoy talked about it before the thing was even ready. So it's like 41 million. This thing will launch to the moon. This thing has the opportunity to go up 100 times, 500 times. So these are the ones where you can make a ton of gains. Armor, it's like one of the ones that I'm holding as like a hedge. So I think this one's an insurance play. It's going to be huge when it does launch, because it has such a massive utility. So a lot of these you can just go through. I put Just Bet in here. I'm still not sure if this was a rug pull. It kind of looks like it was, but I don't know if I would invest in that one. And then so go through this. Like if you guys want my watch list, just comment watch list down below and go through it, because I've already done the hard work of picking a lot of these things out. It's not financial advice. The lower you go, the more speculative it becomes. And the more likely it is you could lose money. The higher it goes, the less speculative it is, because the more the coin's proven itself to be a decent project. And it's proven itself to be in a place to where at least it's going to stick around for a while. And then the last thing I kind of wanted to show you guys here was, let me find the link. There's a link that will allow you to kind of get an idea of what the future price of a coin could possibly be without doing all the math. But I've got to find it for you guys in order to be able to do it. Maybe I'll do that one on another video, so that way it's a lot easier to find and I have it prepared, and we can kind of go through a bunch of coins to analyze and see where they could possibly head. So if you guys wanted me to do another video on how to quantify the price of a coin, like what is it now? What could it be if it goes up this much? What could it be if it goes up this much? Then drop a video, just drop the comment video down below and I'll do that video next. But let me know if you guys like this. If you found this valuable, drop a valuable down below. If you joined me live, drop a live down below. If you have a question, drop live and then the question, or drop replay in the question if you join for the replay. And hopefully this is helpful. Big thing is just mitigate risk. Don't go all in on micro caps. Don't go all in on these tiny coins, because you just don't know. They might pump and never, they might pump and dump and never pump again. It's hedged across different. Ultimately, you just want